close. Being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. How could I ever let you go now when you're looking like that?
Hi, it's Katie with Hill Country Hands. Thanks for joining me on my channel today. Today's video is a little bit different than my typical videos. So if you're new to my channel, make sure you go check out more of my typical videos. I do motherhood and lifestyle videos. Today's video, I'm just going to be sharing with y'all some stuff that I've been going through lately personally. I never open up about these things to get attention or for people to feel sorry for me or anything like that. I really just want to share because I share my life on YouTube and Instagram pretty openly, and I don't want y'all to think that everything that I share is just highlight reel and the fun times, because that's not life, or that's not my life anyway. It's not always perfect, and I also want to share in case anybody else is going through something similar, so maybe you can find comfort in knowing that you're not alone, because I feel like these types of things just aren't talked about openly enough. With that being said, if you are going through depression or feeling really down, make sure you talk to somebody, especially if you are feeling so down that you feel like you want to hurt yourself or hurt someone else or your children or anything like that. Make sure you talk to somebody. I know it's a very hard conversation and it's hard to bring up, but you never want to hurt yourself or someone else. That being said, I've been going through a hard time, but I am not suicidal or anything like that. It is not on that level. So I just have been not good the last few months, to just be completely honest. I keep lying to myself, and I kept trying to pretend like I was okay and telling myself that I was okay, and I just haven't been. Nothing huge, majorly bad has happened. I just feel like I'm failing at everything and I'm letting everyone down. And that's the last thing that I want to do, especially my family. But yeah, I just feel like I can't do anything right. I have dealt with depression most of my life, looking back on it, my teenage years and stuff. I don't think I realized it then, but it's something I've suffered with for forever. And I'm on antidepressants, and I'm in a decent place, or I thought I was. And wintertime is always harder for me. I don't know, I know a lot of people get winter blues, but just January especially was a really hard, bad month for me. And then December wasn't great. There was just a lot of things that added to that. We were sick a lot. I had the virus, me and Hunter. We had some colds. We had a stomach virus. It seemed like we were sick for a week and not sick for a few days to a week, and then we were sick again, and just on for the past 2 or 3 months. And that always adds to my depression. I do have a weakened immune system, so I do get sick more often, and I stay sick longer than the typical person, and that has always brought me down, especially whenever I have to cancel plans because of being sick, because that's happened a lot in my life, and it's something that I get really bad anxiety about. It's something that I just feel so guilty about, and I just take it so hard whenever I'm sick and I have to cancel on somebody or cancel plans, or whenever I was working, I would get so much anxiety over having to possibly call in because I was sick, or even if I was sick and I didn't work for a few days, I would just worry the whole time. Well, what if I'm not better by then? Or what if I hate letting people down in that way, and I just take it really personal. December was not great, but I was really looking forward to going to see my best friend and her husband. We were having a couples weekend kid-free. My parents were going to watch the kids all weekend, and we were going to go to Dallas and stay with them and see them, and we planned this months ago. Even whenever I was like having some really dark days, I was just like, well, January, I cannot wait for that weekend away with Justin and my best friend. And then I got my kidney infection, and then I got the virus, and so we didn't get to do that. And I was just so frustrated with like my body and the situation, and just not getting to go see my best friend. That kind of stuff just like adds to it. And then in general, I just feel like I'm failing. Like, I became a full-time stay-at-home mom in September, I guess. I think it was September. Before that, you know, originally I worked part-time twice a week, and then I went down to PRN once a week. And it's been an adjustment for me and our family. It is what I always wanted to do. I was so excited and so blessed to have that situation happen to where I could be a stay-at-home mom now. Justin, my husband, got a promotion, and that made it possible for us to be able to do that. But it's been an adjustment. His promotion's been an adjustment because his work scheduling hours are different than it was before his promotion. And then, you know, me being a full-time stay-at-home mom has been an adjustment for our family as well. It is still what I want to do. If I had to go back to work tomorrow, I would be devastated, because it's definitely what I want to do, and I've really loved and cherished my time. But that being said, it has been different for me and Justin. You know, whenever I was working once a week, we had my parents watching the kids overnight once a week. So we would drop the kids off the night before, the evening before. We would get takeout, have that whole evening together, and then we would drive together to work and carpool. I wouldn't really see him at work, but then we would carpool home together. And so we had a lot of time, like once a week at least. We had one night without the kids, and we had some quality time to connect. And we went from that to not having that. My parents still help a lot with the kids, but it's not like a every week thing that we're getting a night without kids alone. So we've had to adjust, and it's harder to connect because of that. And then also being a stay-at-home mom, there's expectations. You know, of course, I'm taking care of the kids and keeping up with the house, and I struggle with finding balance with that. I mean, there's always things that can be done. Like, our house needs to be like very decluttered and deep cleaned. I am always busy. It's not like I'm just like lounging around all the time, but it still always seems to be a mess. I always feel behind on housework, and just there's so much clutter. I've done some good work the last few months of working on like certain areas of the house, but it's still just overwhelming. It's been lacking at times. I've been working really hard at trying to balance it all lately, and I just feel like I'm failing as like a housewife, as a homemaker. I feel like if I am busy with the kids one day, then the house is a mess. If I'm not as busy with the kids and not giving them as much attention, then the house can look decent. Or if I'm busy decluttering an area, the whole rest of the house is just a complete chaos wreck. I feel like there's no balance. Having two little kids, I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. Even whenever I am cleaning and vacuuming and straightening, you know, an hour later, there's crumbs on the floor everywhere. There's toys everywhere. If you have kids, you can relate, especially little kids. And I know this is just a phase of life. Someday I will have a quiet, clean, organized house, and I will be missing those little kids when they were little. I feel like I'm failing as a mom because Mackenzie is still not potty trained. She's 3.5. She should be potty trained by now. It's not from a lack of trying. it's just not going well, and that's my fault. I don't know if I started too late. I don't know. I don't know. And I know she'll figure it out. It'll be fine. But I know that's my fault. And it's hard to like stick with it, because then, you know, she's crying. She doesn't want to wear panties. She doesn't want to go. It's a whole thing. And then Hunter starts crying, and it's a lot, but I'm just going to have to push through it, and we're just going to have to figure it out. And then Hunter's not sleeping in his bed all night still. That's a work in progress as well, but, you know, that's my fault too, because I should have never, like, let him co-sleep with us. He was just so fussy as a newborn, and with his, like, GI issue stuff, like, he was just so fussy, and with breastfeeding, I was just so exhausted. That became our habit, that became our normal, and that has just affected a lot of things. It's just made it harder now, because now he's 1.5 years old and is never used to sleeping alone, so he doesn't know how to self-soothe. He doesn't, of course, like, if you're used to sleeping with somebody like cuddled up to you, you're not going to want to sleep by yourself. The times that he does spend in his room are getting longer and longer. You know, now it's typically 2 to 3 hours, and then he'll come into our room, and then if I'm not half asleep, I will either nurse him and then bring him back, or go in there and nurse him in his room, and he'll stay for like another hour or so and then come back. But he always ends up back in our bed, because I am just so tired and end up falling asleep. Especially since he has been getting up between 2 and 3 pretty much every day. 2 and 3 a.m. Until like 6 a.m. or sometimes he just stays up until we take a really early nap at like 9. I don't know what's up with that, but I've just been so exhausted that it's hard to just keep putting him back in bed. But I feel like I'm failing him. And that has, obviously, having a kid in your bed is going to affect your alone time connection with your husband. So that has added to making it a little bit harder and just to have time alone. Just feel like I'm failing them. And those kids mean everything to me, so it's really hard to feel like I'm failing them. And then I feel like I'm failing as a friend. I don't have a ton of friends, and the ones that I'm super close to don't live here. My best friend, like I said, lives in Dallas. And then my other friend that I'm really close to lives in Houston. Everybody, of course, is busy with their own stuff, so it's hard to get together with them. And then I have some really sweet friends here. And there's some sweet friends that we do play dates with and stuff like that, but it's hard to just build like a deep, close friendship with people, because everybody's just so busy with their own stuff. And I get in my head of like, I'm not a good friend, so nobody wants to be my friend, and just like this spiral of stuff. So I've just been really lonely lately for friendship. I feel like so weird and silly saying that. Like, I'm not cool enough for people to be friends with me and hang out with me, but I don't know. That's what I feel like lately. But it's hard. I know everybody is so busy with their own stuff. A lot of friends that I do have locally, like they work and they have kids, or, you know, they work full time, so their time is limited as it is. So it's just really, it's hard to have time. And I think I also am like comparing having friends like in my 20s and in college, like those, it was great times, but it's not going to be the same now that I have kids. Like, I have responsibility, so it's harder to stay like connected with friends, I think, because of that. The friends that I do have are really amazing, but I just am feeling lonely lately, and part of that is on me because since I've been feeling like this the last few months, I have been kind of like pulling myself back and being distant from people and not really like wanting to make plans and connect with people, just because I've been kind of like in this dark place, like by myself. Like, I get things done, and it's not like I sit in a corner and cry all day. I'm here, I'm trying to be, present with my kids and my family and doing the things that need to be done, and I'm still trying to be active on Instagram and stories and keep up that kind of stuff. But truly though, like, I'm going through a hard time, and I'm just really trying to hide it from everybody. And then I also feel like a failure because I feel like I'm not being a good enough Christian. I feel like I should be grateful for my situation and my blessings, and why am I not happy? Like, I should be super happy. Like, I have everything I've ever wanted. I get to stay home with my kids. I have a loving husband. I am well taken care of. I feel like God is probably like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you not happy enough with like what I've given you? And it's not that I'm not grateful. I'm so grateful. So when I think about that, I think like, what's wrong with me? Like, what is like, why, what is wrong with me? Like, why, how can I feel like that? How can I feel the way I feel, but have all these amazing blessings? I have to remind myself that God is not like that. He understands like your heart, and I don't think that he is judging me for having the feelings that I'm having. There's just a lot of stuff that's just making me feel like a failure. If you're feeling that way at all, just know you're not alone. You can feel like that and feel like not your happiest self and not yourself, even if like something hugely horrible hasn't happened to you. I feel bad because so many people are going through so much worse things than I am. There's a few personal things that are going on that I'm not going to share, but there's not this huge thing, this huge reason for me to feel this way. If you're like me and that's going on with you and you're not feeling your happiest self and you're feeling like a failure, just know you're not alone. And looking up the definition of a failure is lack of success. So when I logically try to think about why I think I'm a failure or why I feel like a failure, I'm not lacking success every day, all day as being a mom. If I really logically look at it, I'm not having success in every part of motherhood every day, all day. That's for sure. And if somebody is, they're probably lying or their kids are just perfect, because that's just not very likely that you're being successful all the time as a mom. I'm having some successes. So I'm trying to celebrate the small things, appreciate the small things, enjoy the happy small moments where things are good and there's less chaos, and kind of like just embracing the mess. Doesn't mean that I'm not like still working on my home and like keeping it tidy and doing things that need to be done. But I'm not like obsessing over it like I was there for a little bit. Just trying to give myself more grace. Realize that I can't be perfect at all these things all at once. I don't want to be perfect anyway. That's just not who I am. I'm going to embrace and appreciate the small wins that we get every single day. Like Hunter learning how to talk better, and Mackenzie learning, she can count to 10 now, and she can say some of her ABCs in order, and doing things like that. And just watching them and their relationship grow as brother and sister and things like that. And I will say the last week or so, last few days especially, I am starting to feel a little bit more like myself. We got a kid-free night Last night, my parents watched the kids for us to celebrate Valentine's Day. So we had like 24 hours without the kids, which was amazing. We went on a day date and just enjoyed each other's time here without the kids. I got the best night of sleep that I've had in forever, and it has really helped my mood. Getting sleep is huge. I feel like it's so important for like somebody that struggles with mental stuff. It was just really good to connect with my husband. It just felt like us yesterday. It was really nice. And I'm making a little bit more plans this week and trying to just get a little bit more back on track with me and feeling like myself and logically thinking that I'm not a failure. Knowing that this too shall pass. This is just a little phase of life. It's a bump in the road. I'm not saying that like my depression isn't always going to be there. I don't know if it will or not, but this last couple months, especially the last month of me feeling really down, it won't last forever, and I'm trying to pull myself out of it. Just know that you're not alone. I'm always here to talk to anyone. I'm always here for prayers. If you need prayers, please let me know. You can message me on Instagram if you want it to be more private, or you can leave me a comment down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video.